Hello, welcome back to the We Are City channel, guys. We're going to do a live today because I wanted to talk about Josko Gvardiol, Aymeric Laporte. That story keeps building and building and building. I thought we need to talk about it, don't we? And talk about Josko Gvardiol and Aymeric Laporte. We've got a vote in the live chat right now. Who do you think's the better player? Josko Gvardiol or Aymeric Laporte? Currently, after a few votes, Josko Gvardiol is winning by 71% or 75% now. I think Aymeric Laporte is severely underrated, and that's why I wanted to do the video today, to say, are you guys really happy with Laporte going? Because a lot of people seem to think, yeah, get rid of Laporte. And last season, Laporte, for the last 5-6 games, the 7 games of the season, he was injured, he played through a knee injury, and he was like sort of City's best player, really, in the defence. Really important, won as a Premier League title. That injury that he played through really slowed down his season at the start, and now, for whatever reason, Pep Guardiola just doesn't want to play Aymeric Laporte. Now, news coming out about Laporte is he wants to go for definite, and City wants to let him go for definite. So that is some confirmed, exactly 100% news. Laporte wants to go, City wants to let him go. And if City were to sign anyone to replace Laporte, Josko Gvardiol is the man top of the list to replace him. Now, Pau Torres has been mentioned a little bit as well. He's been mentioned a very long time. But at the moment, it's Josko Gvardiol. That's who City want. 21 years of age, Croatian centre-back from RB Leipzig. That's who City want. I mean, Ashton says here, if it wasn't for the injuries, he'd be on Van Dijk level now. I think Laporte's fantastic. And you are right, Ashton. I think the injuries really have caused problems for him. Jack says Gvardiol is a very good player. He's lost it there. I think Laporte's better than Gvardiol, says Ashton. Well, I think right now Laporte probably is better than Gvardiol. We'll talk about Gvardiol in comparison to Laporte, because I think Laporte is very underrated. Now, we're talking about Laporte going to a possibility of 5 clubs that are being linked with him. The 5 clubs are Barcelona, are Juventus, AS Roma, Inter Milan, and perhaps a return to Athletic Bilbao. Now, of course, we don't really think Laporte's going to go to Athletic Bilbao. I can't see him returning there. However, they are set to lose Inigo Martinez in the summer on a free transfer, perhaps to Barcelona. If Barcelona went and got Inigo Martinez, then they wouldn't be going for Aymeric Laporte. So that is perhaps one of the options for him. But I can't see Bilbao having 40, Athletic Club having 40 million to spend. That is still a very low amount for Aymeric Laporte. Barcelona financially are in big problems. They apparently want Bernardo Silva as well. They want Ilkay Gundogan on a free. I just don't know about that. Ashton said about PSG. PSG is maybe more of an option for him. I think Roma, Inter Milan and Juventus are never going to sign Aymeric Laporte because they want him on a loan to buy. I think so will Barcelona. And that's the issue. I mean, are you happy with getting 40 million for Aymeric Laporte? I mean, you look at a player of his quality, what he's achieved in his career. Surely Laporte's worth 60 million. Surely he's worth at least 60 million, Aymeric Laporte. I think 40 million for a player who's as good as he is at 28 years of age, still got a long time left in his career. To let him go for 40 million is ridiculous. And if City are letting him go for 40 million, that sort of signals to me that the man heavily linked with us in Josko Gvardiol is not coming to Manchester City. I cannot see City selling Laporte for 40 and buying Gvardiol for 100. It makes no sense at all, does it really, in terms of financial reasons, despite what Gvardiol is as a player. Financially, it makes no sense to me. I think City, if they were selling Laporte for 40 million, maybe they're bringing in Pau Torres for 40 million. That's the only other player I can think that come in at that cheap. Or Inigo Martinez on a free transfer. That's the player they're looking for. They're looking for a left footer. Maybe Castello Lucaba from Lyon. He's the one that's on my list of perhaps left-footed centre-backs. It's interesting, isn't it? I would guess bought for Laporte for 55 million, so would never accept 40 million. I cannot see it, Ashton. I cannot see it. Rico Lewis saying, I don't want it to happen, obviously, but it's a feeling it may happen. I think it will happen. It certainly will happen. Laporte is going. I think Laporte is going. It's just, I think the issue is the price tag put on Aymeric Laporte. We'll have to see with that. And another player that I've just mentioned there is Pau Torres, linked to Manchester City. Now, Pau Torres is nowhere near the sort of defender, when you watch him, that City probably want. He's not a good defender. But on the ball, he's probably better than Laporte. He's probably better than any player at Manchester City Football Club. I can see that. Now, Gvardiol is very good on the ball as well. And to me, Josko Gvardiol is that very equal balance mixture between Laporte and Ruben Diaz. He's a very streetwise defender. He's quick, he's physical, he can make those last-ditch challenges. He's willing to throw his body on the line, like Diaz, but also he's a real gifted ball player, like Laporte. He's very progressive in his play. We're going to look at his stats very shortly to see. But Pau Torres is another one. He's a very good on-the-ball player, but off the ball, I'm not so sure. Lavia buyback clause, 40 million, says Rico Lewis. He also wants Jude Bellingham. I don't think Bellingham's going to happen. We'll talk about that as well. Why not? Bastione says the great best. Yeah, Bastioni would be perfect, but he's signed a new contract with Inter Milan. He's not going anywhere, but he would be an option, certainly for me. Torres is linked with every team over the last 2 years. Yeah, never left Villarreal because they want 60 million for him. Actually, that's never going to happen. Bastioni is certainly an option. We'll talk about Jude Bellingham maybe, but I just want to talk about the stats between these two players. So I've got the stats here, starting with Josko Gvardiol. We'll start with Aymeric Laporte's stats here. I'll just have to zoom in, so I might lose you guys' comments below, but you can see that's the stats on FBref. And Laporte defensively doesn't look too good, does he? I mean, 6 tackles per 90 minutes, I suppose, or percentile-wise, 6%. Interceptions is low, blocks is low, clearance is low, aerial drills at 66%. But on the ball, you can see where Laporte really, really impresses on the ball, can't you? And that is the big one for Aymeric Laporte. And if you put Josko Gvardiol alongside Laporte here, you can see both on the screen there, you can compare the two. Looking at that, you can see that on the ball, Aymeric Laporte absolutely outdoes Gvardiol. Not by much, and you have to remember it's a style of football as well. You know, the way Leipzig play, touches-wise. I mean, Aymeric Laporte, 83% touches to Gvardiol's 33%. Progressive passes, Laporte's 76% to Gvardiol's 41%. I mean, you can tell the difference there, can't you? Gvardiol's more physical and gets forward more consistently. Yeah, but, you know, you look at the stats, he hardly has a lot of the ball, Gvardiol. Now, when we watched him against City for Leipzig, I thought he was brilliant on the ball. But it shows that statistically, I mean, defensively, he's a lot worse. I mean, one thing that worries me in this one is aerial drills for Laporte is 66%. Gvardiol's is only 17%. But where Gvardiol really outdoes Laporte is in every defensive statistic. 32 clearances to 6, 44% blocks to 10%. 65% interceptions to Laporte's 2. He seems to read the game really well. 30 tackles to 6. So Gvardiol is a much more involved defender, you would say, wouldn't you really? And that's the way it seems to be with Josko Gvardiol. Just pop up Ruben Diaz as well here. This is Gvardiol compared to Ruben Diaz. Diaz, once again, I mean, there's a lot of that. He outdoes Gvardiol a lot. Again, passing-wise, he outdoes Gvardiol in a way, but progressive passes, Gvardiol's much better. Progressive carries, Gvardiol is much better. Successful take-ons, Gvardiol's a lot better. Touches, Diaz has a lot more touches. And then defensively, Gvardiol actually is better statistically defending than Diaz. Now, he probably does a lot more defending than Ruben Diaz, but that is one to look at as well. I thought I'd put these statistics on screen for you guys just to compare them. You can always pause the video at any point and look through these statistics. I mean, Ashton there saying Craig Dawson. Rico Lewis is talking about Romeo Lavia. We'll talk about Lavia in a second. Why not? I'm hoping Chelsea don't buy him. And then finally, just the player stats I wanted to show you was Pau Torres, since he's been also linked with City. I mean, on the ball, he's up there a lot better than Diaz. We'll put him compared to Aymeric Laporte, in fact. He's up there with Diaz, isn't he? Pau Torres. But defensively, Pau Torres is actually better than Diaz and better than Laporte clearances-wise, but he's bad in the air. Very bad in the air. And I think we don't want players that are bad in the air. I personally think Gvardiol's good in the air. Attacking the wise anyway, but defensively maybe not. The same with Nathan Ake. And at the moment, 71% of you guys believe that Gvardiol's a better player, so City surely are upgrading then in your guys' eyes if you were to bring those players in. So Josko Gvardiol in for Aymeric Laporte. That looks like it is going to be happening in the summer. Gvardiol does have a €100 million release clause at Leipzig, but not until the summer of 2024. So that does make a difference. Hopefully we get... A lot of people are mentioning Jude Bellingham, so Fai's there mentioning Jude Bellingham. We'll talk about Jude Bellingham as well. As far as I know, Jude Bellingham will not be coming to Manchester City. Jude Bellingham to City is not happening. City might be pushing for Bellingham. City might be very interested in Bellingham. City might be willing to spend the money on Jude Bellingham. But Jude Bellingham himself does not want to come to Manchester City. There's only 2 places Bellingham goes this summer. And those 2 clubs that Bellingham are going to be going to is either Real Madrid or Liverpool. So we need to get Bellingham out of our mind. That one is not happening. Bellingham will go to Liverpool or Real Madrid. I think Jude Bellingham wants to join Liverpool, but he knows Real Madrid's a pretty close second. But Jude Bellingham will not be joining Manchester City this summer. I'm glad. If I'm wrong, brilliant. If I'm wrong, absolutely fantastic. City signed Jude Bellingham. But I do not think there is a chance we sign Jude Bellingham. It's going to be Liverpool or it's going to be Real Madrid. Laporte is underrated. Your channel is underrated. Thank you very much, Ashton. I wish we had more subs, really. We're nearly at 5,000 subscribers, but more subs would be fantastic. Rico Lewis thinks we have a chance with Jude Bellingham. We should have Enzo Fernandez. Well, apparently Chelsea signed Enzo. Very, very expensive signing to try and stop City and Real Madrid being there in the summer because he was sort of the backup to Bellingham for most clubs. Who else is out there? I think Alexis McAllister City might end up spending quite a bit of money on. I think There's about 8 players I can mention that I think City will target this summer, and I can tell you those 8 players right now. They are Jude Bellingham is certainly on City's list. Declan Rice, Alexis McAllister, James Maddison, Mason Mount, Mateo Kovacic, Frenkie de Jong, perhaps. City might say to Barca, you want Laporte, you want Bernardo Silva. What about Frenkie de Jong in return? And then the last one, I don't know. Maybe an Adrian Rabiot. He's been linked with City as well. I hope not. But you can name 8 players that will be on City's list. 4 for each position. A more grounded midfielder and a more forward-thinking midfielder. Nam says, why don't you think we have a chance at Bellingham? He's a Liverpool fan, Nam. He wants to join Liverpool. I can tell you now, Jude Bellingham wants to play for Liverpool. I think he really wants to play for Liverpool or Real Madrid. Lee McDonald says City should sign someone like Theo Hernandez. Would be brilliant at left-back. We've not been really solidly linked with any left-back at all, have we? I think at the moment it's looking to me, Theo Hernandez won't be happening. The 2 left-backs, I'd say, it's between Anthony Robinson and Rafael Guerreiro of Borussia Dortmund on a free transfer. City might get him on a free as a short-term fix and spend big elsewhere, because we do need to spend big in midfield and perhaps in centre-back as well, if that's what they plan to do. Nam says, Jude Bellingham maybe as a 6 but not an 8. Well, apparently City see him as an 8, don't they? What about Leao, says Fies? Well, there's conflicting reports on Rafael Leao, Fies. Some people are saying that City want Leao, he is what City need, and Pep Guardiola really wants him. Other reports say City don't want anything to do with him. I think one player that won't be coming to City this summer is Kvaratskhelia of Napoli. He will not be leaving Napoli in the summer. The only way he's leaving if someone pays 150 million for him, which no one will do. And City do not deal with Napoli. So take Kvaratskelia's his name out your mouth is what I'm trying to say, or out your head. He's not happening. We could do Lavia, says Rico Lewis. City might bring Lavia back just for the sake that no one else gets him. I think they generally could. They've got the money to bring him back. I think City want a midfielder anyway to add to the midfield. So that is then De Bruyne, Gundogan, Ilkay Gundogan, Bernardo Silva. They want to add a midfielder in there in a more forward position with Rodri and Phillips the holders. So you say maybe Jude Bellingham, but it won't be Bellingham. But say Jude Bellingham for now. That's 4 players. Then Gundogan and Bernardo goes. City might attract 2 more midfielders. Kovacic will be a cheaper deal. If Gundogan goes on a free, you'd probably get Kovacic for around 20 million. And maybe Maddison as well. I mean, James Maddison out of contract at the end of next season. Around 45 million for James Maddison. Mason Mount reportedly be willing to be sold for 50 million, apparently. That's what Chelsea are looking for James Maddison. For Mason Mount, Maddison 45 million to 50 million. Kovacic around 20 million. Lavia for 40 million. If City can get these players for under 50 million, I think they'll be interesting. Think about Jude Bellingham. He's going to cost 150 million. That's 3 midfielders we probably could have signed. So that is a big issue with Bellingham as well. Ilkay likely to leave, says Rico. Yeah, I think Gundogan's going to Barcelona in my mind. I think Gundogan and Bernardo are gone. Certainly Laporte. The overhaul is going to happen this season. City can't keep putting it off anymore. So City linked with Gvardiol. City linked with getting rid of Laporte. Lots of transfers going on. Lee McDonald asks about what you think about Osimhen. He's not... Well, no Napoli player will ever join Manchester City. City will not deal with Napoli. Osimhen is ridiculously good. I think he's a brilliant player. He looks like a good player at Lille. But he will be going to there's only 2 clubs I can see Osimhen joining, maybe 3. He's a Chelsea fan. His boyhood dream is to join Chelsea like Didier Drogba, who's his icon. So I think Chelsea are going to spend big on Osimhen in the summer because they need a striker. Don't be surprised if Todd Boehly drops 150 million on the Nigerian. It would not surprise me. Chelsea have just got money to burn, haven't they? And they seem to want to burn it. That's just me predicting the transfer window. But that's the way it looks like it's going to go. But Kvaratskhelia will not be joining Manchester City. No way. I think Rafael Leao is the only option, but even then I'm not entirely sure. It wouldn't surprise me if City don't sign a winger at all and go in lacking next season. But Cole Palmer has proven that he's not Manchester City level, hasn't he, really? He really has proven that. So that's just a quick live for you guys to talk about Gvardiol. It seems you guys are pretty much set on, Gvardiol. You think he's a better player than Laporte. City will be upgrading. So hopefully Gvardiol does join City if Laporte does leave, which he looks very likely. There's lots of players being linked with Manchester City. I mean, Matheus Nunes, another one, says Rico Lewis. He's another option, but I think City, the fact that they didn't go for him in the end, I think the fact that City didn't go for him in the end when he left Sporting, and he's not really performed at Wolves, City won't go for him. He's sort of like a backup option for Liverpool in the summer. But there's lots of names being mentioned. Maybe we do a live next week, maybe next Tuesday, where I talk about every position, every player City could sign. Maybe that's the idea. Maybe 3 or 4 players in every position. I did a little video on 10 midfielders City could sign. It didn't do so well, to be honest. We only a couple hundred views, so I was just going to do wingers and fullbacks and so on. but that didn't seem to work. So that's why I haven't done another one of those. Lee McDonald says City should sign Alex Scott. I mean, he'd be great for the future, Lee. But I think right now Pep Guardiola wants much more sort of completed midfielders, and that would mean a James Maddison, that would mean a Declan Rice, players that are going to come in and step up straight away, not young projects, because we know how competitive the Premier League is getting. So thank you very much for watching. Please do like the video if you haven't already. Please do subscribe to the channel if you are new. Have a look at our Manchester City store, by the way, that's a big one. Have a look at the City store. We've got our own store with really impressive custom printing, with Alvarez shirts and so on, which looks really good. So you guys go and check out our City store. No one is yet to make our first ever purchase from the store. I know Ashley said if we got a Scott Carson shirt, he'd be interested, but there's lots going to the City store, so go and check that out. That launched only yesterday. Pablo Gavi says Rico Lewis, never happening. He's not leaving Barcelona. He might be a Betis fan, but he's not leaving Barcelona. Don't ever think about it. Unless Barcelona go bankrupt, he's not going anywhere. And have a look at join the We Are City membership club as well. We have the Bronze Club and the Silver Club. You join either of those, you get to see the We Are City FC career mode, which is already out there and already for those guys, part of the membership club to watch. Thank you very much, and we'll see you guys next time. Great for having your support as always in the channel. And FIFA video coming out tomorrow as the Manchester City career mode comes towards an end. See you next time, guys.